Hi, we're now going to look at our 7045 coating, which is our super durable coating for stone. I'm just going to start off by doing a bit of graffiti. There. And we'll talk about this piece of stone first. Here we have a piece of tile, and I've already coated it some days ago with 7045. And here we have a full layer of 7045. In fact, there are two layers, one on top of the other, because this is such an absorbent surface that if I apply the first one, it just disappears. So we put the first layer on of 100% 7045, wait 5 minutes, and then put the top layer on. And then we get a very glossy finish. And it's clearly visible. We're not talking about an invisible nanoscale coating. There is an undetectable nanoscale coating on here, but this is our 7045 100%. Here we have 7045 at 75%, so 25% alcohol, and here we've got 50-50, 50% 7045, 50% alcohol. The reason being, this is our strongest, super durable, very glossy, fantastic anti-graffiti protection, massive durability, but not every client wants to have a glossy finish. So if you dilute it, you get more of a matte finish. On certain stones it will still be quite glossy actually, but if it's a polished stone like a marble or something like that, then it will remain glossy. And here you'll see it's much less visible. Massive stain resistance to anything, engine oil, red wine, vinegar, lemon juice, all the usual suspects. No staining whatsoever. Coca-Cola, coffee, tea, none at all. Here, and fantastic graffiti protection. Here you get massive hydrophobicity, massive durability, less stain protection. Still good stain protection, but this is off the scale. And here it's really, we're looking for long-term hydrophobicity together with durability. So the SiO, this 7045 coating can be applied to any stonework, and we're just working with a brush at the moment, but you would use a roller for larger areas, for example this table, if it was a walkway, or if you have large scale, you just spray it. So, but let's see what it does. It actually does, it depends on your client, depends on what you want to achieve. So we'll start off with our 100% coating. 100% 7045, and you'll notice it's clearly visible and it enriches the stone. Now, depending who you are, where you're putting this, that is either what you're seeking or you're not seeking. For some clients, this is the best thing possible. We're going to end up with a very rich colour, and it stays rich, no staining. And in this instance, this is quite a bit like this stone here. I would probably put this first coat on. I'd coat the whole area if it was something like the size of this table, and then I'd quickly recoat it if I wanted that glossy appearance. But we'll come back to that in a second. Next, I'm going to put on the 75%. And you'll notice it of course absorbs more readily into the stone. And that's another reason why we do this. Sometimes, to actually enhance the penetration, depending upon the nature of the stone, if you've got a stone that is not very absorbent, for example a marble, we would suggest that you put a mixture of even 50%, depends on the stone, or 75%, just as I'm doing now. You put that down as an undercoat, that moves rapidly into the structure of the stone, and then we follow with a full coating afterwards. So here, that's, now what would I expect? I would expect you could drop if this was a nice country house with an old farm feel to it, and you had this in your kitchen, and you dropped red wine on, and etc., etc., it will come off. It won't stain. This, when we apply us, it will be pool on the top, very, very easily removed. On this coating here, you'd need more energy to get it out of the pores. Finally, we're going to put on our 50% coating, and this, you'll see, as fully anticipated, quickly goes inside. This will give you exceptional long-term hydrophobicity and durability. It's incredibly durable. You can and heat tolerant to over 1,000 degrees and still remaining fully active. So if I were to take a blowtorch to these coatings now, do a hydrophobic test, you'll see this on another video we've done, and hit it at over 1,000 degrees, it's still hydrophobic, it's still working. So that's what it looks like. Now, as I say, for this coating here, I would do my first layer if I wanted the shiny aspect, the gloss aspect, and I'd come back afterwards and do my next coat. And then you are going to end up with a glossy appearance. So it depends what you need to achieve. But I can't stress highly enough how massively durable this coating is. So application, very, very straightforward. Yes, it just does change the colour of the stone. That's ideal for some people, not for others. So here, what's the effect like? So here I put some graffiti on it. It won't rub off yet because it's an indelible felt tip pen. I wouldn't expect it to rub off, but I would just use a little bit of, I've got some here, just a little bit of alcohol until the top comes off. But this could be hot engine, we test it with hot engine oil, we test it with the usual products. So I would just rub it, and you would never get any ghosting or marks on that. Could be it could be paint, anything, it will come straight off. And of course these coatings are also available as coloured products for exteriors and walkways, etc. So 7045, massively durable. We're now going to look at some of the effects of the coatings. So here we have the 7045 coating at 100%, and we're just going to put some red wine on. Now you notice it's not a very high contact angle. You might not be able to see in the image, but we're not concerned about that. This isn't a nanoscale coating. We don't expect it to be a high contact angle. Here we're just really looking at hydrophobicity. Here we're going to put some, that's the 75% coating. Here's the 50% coating, 50% SiO2, 7045, and 50% alcohol. And here we've got a hydrophobic coating, a nanoscale. You notice it has a higher contact angle, and here there's nothing. Now, what would I expect? I would expect I can leave that red wine on there, or I could leave engine oil on there for a day, a week, a year. There'll be no staining, zero staining on there. On this coating here, I would expect there would be a little trace of the red wine, very, very small, but which I can remove ideally with biosativa. So if that were to evaporate and dry, let's say in 3 hours from now, because that's what happens with all of these tests, the water part of the constituents of red wine evaporates and leaves the tannin and the various agents on the stone. On here, which is the 50%, I'm really only looking for slightly easy clean, but good, strong, long-term hydrophobicity, and maybe a stain on here. On here, you can see where it's gone completely already. I would expect that very difficult to take the staining out. On the hydrophobic side here, I would expect on this particular coating here, for about an hour or so, I should be able to clean it straight away. After that, I would need to use biosativa to make sure that there were no staining agents. So, this is just to show you. If I wipe that there, you wouldn't expect any staining. It's a glossy surface, it's not going to go into the structure of the stone. This is not a glossy surface. I don't know if you can see from that image, it's very matte. But I wouldn't, I just wipe it up, I wouldn't expect any staining. Even after a long time, I would just expect a little residue of red wine, which will be easy to get off, especially with biosativa. On here, if I left that for to dry overnight, I would expect a little staining, but just for the sake of this test, there's nothing there now. But if I allowed it to dry longer, it will come out. Here, I would expect staining, of course, and here on the nanoscale coating, tiny little hint because of it has a more open structure because it's nanoscale. That would easily come out with biosativa, our cleaning agent, or other agents as well. But biosativa we know is massively effective for cleaning. So that's what we would expect.